Let me turn now to Congressman Boehner, and let me get you right on there, Congressman Boehner. What's your response to the president's decision this week? And also, we just heard from Mr. Emanuel that the president wants to move forward, no prosecution for officials who devised the policy.
Well, I think that's one area that I can agree with the president on. But I think the release of these memos is dangerous, and I agree with what Leon Panetta had to say when he made it clear that he thought that this would hamper our ability to get information from terrorists and get other countries to work with us.
Well, and let's look at this more broadly then, Congressman Boehner. You heard what Mr. Emanuel had to say about the president's approach towards this next set of challenges facing the Congress, especially health care and education. And he says the president's willing to work with Republicans, but Republicans have to come to the tables with ideas. Let's take each issue in turn. Are you prepared to come forward with a plan to cover all Americans and control health care costs?
I think we believe, along with Democrats believe, that all Americans should have access to high-quality, affordable health insurance. We're working on a plan that preserves the doctor-patient relationship, that rewards quality and rewards innovation. We're not for a plan that puts the government in charge of our health care, decides what doctors ought to be paid or what treatments ought to be prescribed.
So that means, so that's a no to the president's plan?
We haven't seen the president's plan as yet. I can tell you what our plan is beginning to look like and the types of things that we will oppose.
Let me ask you then about energy. We showed your statement on the president's decision through the EPA to regulate greenhouse gases. Also, you come out against the president's proposal to cap and trade carbon emissions. So what is the Republican answer to climate change? Is it a problem? Do you have a plan to address it?
George, we believe that our all of the above energy strategy from last year continues to be the right approach on energy. That we ought to make sure that we have new sources of energy, green energy, but we need nuclear energy. We need other types of alternatives. And yes, we need American-made oil and gas.
But that doesn't do anything to control carbon emissions, sir.
And when it comes to the issue of climate change, George, it's pretty clear that if we don't work with other industrialized nations around the world, what's going to happen is that we're going to ship millions of American jobs overseas. We have to deal with this in a responsible way.
So what is the responsible way? That's my question. What is the Republican plan to deal with carbon emissions, which every major scientific organization has said is contributing to climate change?
George, the idea that carbon dioxide is a carcinogen that is harmful to our environment is almost comical. Every time we exhale carbon dioxide. Every cow in the world, you know, when they do what they do, you've got more carbon dioxide. And so I think it's clear we've had climate change over the last 100 years.
Climate change?
Listen, it's clear we've had change in our climate. The question is, how much does man have to do with it? And what is the proper way to deal with this? We can't do it alone as one nation. If we got India, China, and other industrialized countries not working with us, all we're going to do is ship millions of American jobs overseas.
But it sounds like from what you're saying that you don't believe that the Republicans need to come up with a plan to control carbon emissions. You're suggesting not that big of a problem, even though the scientific consensus is that
I think it is an issue. The question is, what is the proper answer and the responsible answer?
And what is the answer? That's what I'm trying to get at.
George, I think everyone in America is looking for the proper answer. We don't want to raise taxes $1.5 to $2 trillion like the administration is proposing, and we don't want to ship millions of American jobs overseas. And so we've got to find ways to work toward this solution to this problem without risking the future for our kids and grandkids.
So you are committed to coming up with a plan?
I think you'll see a plan from us, just like you've seen a plan from us on the stimulus bill and a better plan on the budget.
Finally, also this week we saw these Tea Party tax day protests coming out across the country. Yet one of the organizers of the protests, one of your predecessors, Dick Armey, former Republican leader in the House, said even as he was going forward with the protest that the taxes in the United States are now at a good level. Do you agree?
I think the taxes in America continue to be too high. And if you talk to the people I talked to at the taxpayer protest out in Bakersfield, California, they didn't believe their taxes were too low or about right. They thought they were too high. George, when I talk to people at these rallies, it was pretty clear people are scared to death. And they're scared to death about the future for their kids and their grandkids and the facts that the American dream may not be alive for their kids and grandkids. That's what really scares them.
But on the issue of
They
tax,
understand that you can't borrow and spend your way to prosperity.
But on the issue of taxes, I think it's 43% of people who file taxes pay no income tax at all. For the middle fifth of taxpayers, they're paying just about 3% in federal income tax this year.
Well, you want to go out and explain that to the hundreds of thousands of people around America that showed up for these rallies. They understand that they're paying too much in taxes, but they're really concerned about the amount of spending that's going on in Washington and the amount of debt that's being piled up. They know that you can't have trillion-dollar deficits for as far as the eye can see without imprisoning the future for our kids and theirs.
Okay, Congressman Boehner, thank you very much for your time this morning.